This man here became one of the biggest attractions in professional wrestling, Gorgeous George. But before Gorgeous George, the man was named George Wagner. He was of a German heritage, was born on March 24th, 1915 in Butte, Nebraska. For a time, his family lived on a farm near the village of Phoenix in Hope County and probably in Seward County before they moved to Waterloo, Iowa. And later, at 7 years old, Wagner's family moved to Houston, Texas, where he associated with kids from a tough neighborhood. As a child, he trained at the local YMCA and often staged matches against his friends.
1929, he dropped out of Milby High School at the age of 14 and worked odd jobs to help support his family. At this time, he competed at carnivals, where he would earn a staggering 35 cents for a win. We found a match of Wagner on January 26, 1934 in Houston, Texas, where he would have many matches in Houston, Texas at the Boulevard Arena and continue having matches in Houston in 1935. By February 1936, he would also include the Armory in Brim, Texas, as another one of his places to wrestle at. In August of 1936, Wagner would move to Florida and wrestle at Tuttle Arena in Miami, Florida, and the American Legion Arena in Lake Worth, Florida.
By October of 1936, he would compete at the Coliseum in New York City and at the Hippodrome, also in New York City. And then by the end of November, he would make his way to Jackson, Mississippi. January of 1937, he would add the Municipal Auditorium in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he would start making trips to Texas, Florida, and New York until August of 1937, when he adds Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana to the list of places he wrestles. By February 1938, Wagner would go to Oregon, and he would wrestle on March the 24th, 1938, at the Armory in Eugene, Oregon. George Wagner would defeat Jack Lipscomb to win the Pacific Coast middleweight title in a 2 out of 3 fall match, but lose the title on April the 7th, 1938, at the Armory in Eugene to Bob O'Dowdy. But he will win it back a few weeks later.
In August of 1938, Wagner added Little Rock, Arkansas to his resume and later Oklahoma. By the end of 1938, he would make his way back to Oregon. By the March of 1939, Wagner would wrestle in New Mexico, Arizona. He would just keep on adding places to his resume. By August of 1939, he would make his way back to Texas and add Missouri to the states he had wrestled. Wagner was not especially physically opposing by professional wrestling standards, nor he was an exceptional professional wrestler, although he was a gifted amateur wrestler. Nevertheless, or however you say that,
nevertheless,
he soon developed a reputation as a solid in-ring wrestler. In the late 1930s, he married Elizabeth Betty Hanson, whom he would later marry in the ring. When the wedding proved a good drawing card, the couple reenacted it in arenas across the country, enlightening Wagner the potential entertainment value that was left untapped within the industry. Around this same time, Vanity Fair magazine published a feature article about a professional wrestler by the name of Lord Patrick Lansdowne, who entered the ring accompanied by 2 valets while wearing a velvet robe and a doublet. Wagner was impressed with the man, and he had such a character, but he believed that he could take it to a much greater extreme. What he needed was a new professional personnel. Now, how you say that?
Persona.
Thank you so much. I shouldn't really rereading this, evidently. All right, Jack, I'll let you pick up from there.
In 1940, he would make it back to Ohio. He would also lose to a girl on February 20th, 1940, at the Joseph Taylor Robinson Memorial Auditorium. That's a mouthful. In Little Rock, Arkansas. Well, he did lose to a girl, but it was Ginger the Wrestling Bear. Then in April, he would make his way to California, and later in 1940, he would return to Oregon and then travel to many different states for the rest of that year. On the next video, we will continue to look at George Wagner and we will discuss his transformation into Gorgeous George.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the page. And go one step further, hit that notification bell.